let's react to this, because this is going to be talking about the difference between horror movie screams and regular screams. And that is a big, and like the harsh vocals that I teach. So let's start by prefacing that I just said that even for my actor clients, doing the type of harsh vocals we do in rock and metal, like the fry scream and all this stuff, or even voice with distortion. Hey! Ah! You know, that's my fry, my voice with distortion, all this cool stuff. This is not going to sound very realistic in a horror movie. So you get this kind of catch-22 with actors. If you have a suspension of disbelief involved, like it's a video game, it's a cartoon, you know, whatever it may be, then you can use like a fry scream. So for example, I call it escalating. Like if I was going to teach somebody who's going to do an anime character and they're going to go into a scream, they can, because it's got this element of it's not real because it's animated, they can escalate to a fry scream and it works very well. Why won't you leave me alone? You know, this kind of a sound. And that would actually translate really well in an animated scenario for a creature or a fictional character or even a video game. But one thing that doesn't translate extremely well, real acting, like what we're about to react to here. So you really need to make it realistic, and it's pretty dangerous to do that. Real screams, but we're going to talk about how some of these actors do it. We are going to hear some things in here that are like real screams, but actually could potentially not make you as hoarse as regular things, as like regular yelling. We're gonna hear some like whistle tones. So let's react. Let's see what these scream queens sound like. Okay, so right away, I want to point out a couple things we're hearing here because we're going to keep hearing it. As I was mentioning, the big, huge difference between real hoarseness screaming and what these folks are doing is the whistle harmonics. So when we're doing this, you hear these super harmonics from these folks. So right away, the first three vocalists, well, not vocalists, actors that we saw here, they had extremely high super harmonics in their screams. So not only are they screaming in a voiced sense, this is not doing what we do in the type of vocals that I teach, which is using the other folds to create distortion. They're doing this with their true folds, but they are saving their voice just a little bit by using their own whistle tones. And I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but those are these whistle harmonics we're hearing. It gives the scream this edge here. And if you can get your voice to go into whistle harmonics, even for a realistic sounding scream that is using your true fold, you can probably save yourself from going super hoarse. So let's keep looking at this. Lots of whistles. Holy cow.
Outraged.
Here we go.
So the owners had to close the hotel down and were forced to sell it. Nobody came through here again until the 60s. And ever since then, people have reported seeing the ghost of Madeline O'Malley roaming the hallways waiting for her lover.
Where's the
Some
scream?
say she's even looking to take up a new one.
Thank you. Okay, so that scream, let's go back. That scream was like, bleh, bleh. Please. I don't know. I can't even do it. It's really bad. It was more like a play. Please. Like, see, I just want to go into metal harsh vocals. I have a hard time doing things like this, acting things with true folds, because I'm trying not to make myself hoarse. But that middle one that she did where she said, please, that had a lot of like false folds flapping in it. It didn't have any whistle tones, but you could definitely prevent yourself from going hoarse. It's kind of a good way to do it. Like that. That was almost a false chord scream there. Please, you know, like on a higher voice tone, kind of like that. So we're activating a lot of other tissues there. So that one actually saved that person's true folds.
Why am I here?
I'm hoping we can get to the bottom of that mystery together. Let's discuss what happened yesterday, Kristen.
What's the first thing you remember?
Something creepy's gonna happen. Okay, so that's definitely one that has a lot of whistle tones in it.
What's the matter?
So that scream relied on the whistle harmonics. But every time I've ever tried to do these personally, I've gone hoarse. I really don't recommend trying to scream like this out of nowhere.
Get out! Get out! What? Behind us! There's no one in the truck!
Watching your footsteps.
Hey! Pull up, man! Come on, pull up!
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, when we come back, he'll be gone.
There wasn't a lot of screaming in that one.
Sid.
What's going on with this
Sid, come
compilation?
back.
Oh yes,
Sid.
classic Scream from the movie
Sid,
Scream.
come back.
Or this is definitely one of the sequels. There's a lot of good Screams in the Scream franchise.
Oh, shit. What? He's gone. What?
All right. That was an okay Scream. I feel like there's so many better Screams. Like Neve Campbell, we could have found a better Scream probably as an example. But definitely, again, she was relying on the whistle tones, on the whistle harmonics. If you have a high voice, this is going to be easier for you to do. Part of why I hesitate to do these things and why I often go hoarse when I try to do these things is what's giving me my low voice is the three-dimensional density of my chords. So it's very, very hard for someone with a super low voice and very dense vocal folds to engage those sort of whistle harmonics. If you wanted to start experimenting with like how would you get those whistle harmonics safely, I would look into some of the fry screaming. I would learn some of the fry screaming because I think you could get whistle fry harmonics. Or if you were a coloratura soprano, like a person who can actually sing whistle harmonics, which most people actually can't, so you have to have an extremely high voice. But if you can sing some whistle harmonics, like C6 and above, you can start with your whistle tones up there and kind of work on leaning them into sort of a pterodactyl squawk or into a fry scream. And if you can really get a slightly less distorted fry, that's more whistle harmonics, kind of like a Danny Filth type of thing, I think you could navigate this type of screaming stuff if you were an actor. And I think a lot of the reason these people aren't permanently hoarse is because they're letting it flip into whistle tones. What we've heard is use of false chords in some cases and some harmonic whistle tones in some cases. I think that by doing either of those things, you can prevent a lot of like true fold slamming and hoarseness. But let's be honest, screaming has to sound real when it's in a live action movie. It can't be a suspension of disbelief unless you're playing a ghost or a character or something. So it's different than what we do in music. In music, we do not have to do very realistic sounding screams. And in fact, in music, a fry scream sounds like a blood-curdling, realistic scream to the audience because it's music, it's not acting. It's an art. It has a different type of connotation to it. Like acting is an art as well, but it's meant to be portrayed as like a real life scenario. You're meant to believe it, you know. Music has that sort of suspension of disbelief where we're giving you a creation, but it's not necessarily acting. So let's keep checking it out and see what else they got.
They'd never make it in time.
Oh, this one's a classic.
Nowhere.
What do you want?
To see what your insides look like.
So that was another sort of false chordy one.
I'm calling the police.
That one had a lot of vestibular folds too. Wow, that was not at all her best scream. You know what? No offense to whoever made this, but there are so much better screams from these movies. So that was more just general true folds. That first that could make you hoarse. That doesn't really rely on whistle tones. Oh, classic as well. Of course. Yeah, those are a lot of whistle harmonics here. Yeah, so those actually almost sounded similar to fry screams with the whistle tone in it. There was another whistle tone one there for a second. So that's flipping between just true fold slamming and whistle tones. Many of these would make you hoarse.
No? I guess I just slept heavy.
Okay. I'll see you.
See ya. Hi, everybody.
Believe this fog?
Oh, I believe anything is possible.
Bye.
Looking good, girl.
That's not that good of a scream.
Hey, I'm not doing
we're gonna get some more here. Look at Johnny Depp.
I'm not doing it. What's going on with the window?
Yeah, that was a pretty normal scream. Oh.
Hello?
I didn't hear like a lot of whistle tone screaming. A little bit there. Mostly true folds. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, those were okay. I definitely think that there are some pluses and minuses to doing movie type of acting screams. So if you guys want to get into some of that, the worst thing you can do is just to actually try to scream out of nowhere. You probably will go hoarse. Just don't do that. Because, I mean, these are supposed to be realistic screams, but if you're an actor, you're going to try, you need your true folds. You can't be hoarse for the rest of the acting scenes. You probably need to work on those like whistle tones, or just being able to use some of your vestibulars and just kind of blowing past some of those, work on some of the heavy metal screams first that are like safer phonations, and then work backwards. And again, if you can get sort of this like flipping into whistle tones from like a high note, say you have a very high voice and you can sing whistle tones, but anybody can start to do it like like squeaking over, kind of like squawking into it. You can probably get some whistle tones going. But if you're a person like me, where you have an extremely low voice, you may not really have much success doing whistle tones. I've taught a lot of folks to do whistle tones in my lessons, but I really am not any good at them. I have a very hard time getting them to happen at all. And it's because of the density of my chords. It's very hard to separate them. There's a few ways the whistle harmonics are being created, and a lot of it has to do with a slight light touching of the folds. And if you have real fat, dense folds, it's almost impossible to make them do that. So